soon. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have Patrick O'Connor from Helena Agri as well in this hour. He joined me to talk about all the things coming up with Helena Agri. Of course, we got Coast County Peterbilt GM and President. We have Mike Sorensen and Curtis Crisp, who joins us on the show at around 4:15 as well. Tim Slack stops by as well from the Fresno Grizzlies. You know him as the voice of the Fresno Grizzlies, so good to catch up with him. So all kinds of different interviews today, and we look forward to all of the different conversations we have throughout the week. Of course, we've got plenty to discuss, plenty to talk about in this 2 hours as well, breaking down everything, including high school sports, including the basketball game last night for Fresno State. Of course, Fresno State was in action against the Aggies of Utah State, and the Bulldogs falling in that game 91-78. I'll break it down there in just a hot minute, but first, let's get a shout out to our Lee's Air hotline sponsor, Lee's Air Plumbing, Heating, and Roofing. If you call in the show, 559-320-1430, the way to call in on our show, 559-320-1430, the way to get a hold of us. The Lee's Air weather check sitting at 64 degrees and partly cloudy here in Tulare, and should be relatively dry the rest of the night as we get into tomorrow, which sits at 63 degrees and pretty much the similar temps, but that rain on the horizon. Looking at it on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, maybe all the way through Thursday here in the Central Valley. So rain in the forecast for at least maybe next week. So stay tuned for that. But weather can always change. It certainly does. We got Jorge back in the studio, who's producing the show. Jorge, how are we doing on this? How are we doing on this Wednesday afternoon?
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. Yeah, certainly. Wednesday, of course, you got the 2 hours here. You got a little bit of an hour break before we get the FPU Sunbird Sports Show rolling as well. I've been told already who the guest is. Do you even know who the guest is today for FPU Sunbird Sports Show?
Yeah, I was there when he told you.
I just want to make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, it's
Esports is coming on.
Yeah, esports.
Yeah. I don't know what they play on esports, but I'm sure they're good at it. Better than me, right, in terms of it. But anyways, no, it's going to be a good show with Paul Metters, which, by the way, we're going to have Paul here in about a little bit here. So let me just do a little touch-up here. Fresno State basketball, they played action last night against the Aggies. They fall by 13, which, hey, nice. They covered, certainly. The line was up to 21. Continues the trend of the Bulldogs playing those top four teams in the Mountain West, keeping it within some sort of reach here. The Bulldogs jumping out to that early lead, 8-0 run to start the game. Of course, then it got kind of back and forth after that as the Aggies started shooting well from three-point range. I'm looking at the statistic here where they shot. They shot 58% from three-point range. That is pretty darn good in the first half for the Aggies, and a reason why they're a top team in the Mountain West this year. Of course, Fresno State only 4 for 15 in the three-point side, but only trailed by 12 at the halftime break, and then they kind of kept it within that margin the rest of the way. Looking at the point totals, only two players in double figures for the Bulldogs last night. Deshaun Gorey getting up to 21. He had 8 rebounds as well, 5 assists. You had Jake Highbretter at 19 points with the 3 rebounds and 1 assist as well. So all around, you would like to say that the effort against this Aggie team is one that is what was expected, maybe a little more than what was expected in terms of it. Unfortunately, it does not yield another win for the Bulldogs, which finished this tough 2-game road trip for them. Reno, then Logan. Beating that kind of road trip is very hard for them, but I would say that they are maintaining the pace in terms of perception of they are a team that can kind of hang in a game like this. This is not what this team was doing last year against the top-tier talent in the Mountain West. And now you have a game facing you Saturday where now the expectations are high. You cannot slip up. And the the stage is set for them to really roll on this Air Force team on Saturday. So the question I have last night for Bulldog fans is, was last night's game a good indicator for you ahead of this Mountain West tournament? Are you feeling better, even though the game wasn't as close as maybe some would like? But you go in that building, you don't get run out, and you're able to have a little bit of respect. The moral victories are certainly not something that's measurable. But how are we feeling about last night's game is my number one question on my mind for the Bulldog fans. And Jorge, I imagine at a 13-point loss to the top team in the Mountain West, a team that was ranked in the top 25 at a certain point, is there things you feel good about, or is this Bulldog team kind of hitting its ceiling, and maybe there's a little frustration on the other side that they're not quite stealing a game here against the top teams? 0-6 now against the top 4 in the Mountain West.
I mean, I saw the second half of the game, and quite frankly, I thought it was just that team was just too good for them. They got close. They got close at one point, but it was never, close enough to make a difference. They did play well. I like how they played. But the momentum and Utah always had the advantage on that game. At least I felt that's how it felt.
Right.
It felt like we talked about yesterday about, are they moving fast or are they moving slow, and what's better for them?
Right.
Well, they were moving fast, and they just weren't able to get their game going at all. And the time that they did get the ball and then were moving, then to make their game, and Utah was making a lot of fouls, and they were up in the free throws. But they were converting those, so that was good. So other than that,
it never really got close. It really never did get dangerously close for Utah State. They kept them at arm's length apart. So they got their margin, and then they kind of kept it away. And 13 points really, I think, might be even a graceful way of describing it. It was more of an 18-point game pretty much the entirety of the game, if you're going to perceive it that way. I worry that I haven't seen – this team has reached a pinnacle of where it's been playing, but I worry that we're not hitting more growth now. Like, this team isn't growing in its ability right now. And unless I get maybe a 40-point win over Air Force or something like that, maybe there is something to the idea that this team is maybe hitting its ceiling, which I don't think is a good thing to look at. That's my worry, that this team is playing good basketball, but can it get better in another month here when you're playing in Vegas, when that matters? And I wonder if the plateau has reached for this Bulldog team based off of the results of a 10-point loss to Nevada, 13-point loss to Utah State, have yet to beat a team in the top 4 in the Mountain West. They only have one more opportunity to do so, I believe, with a home game against New Mexico. And even then, that might be a game that can change perceptions, and that's the next really true test for the Bulldogs on their schedule, because I got to believe they can beat Air Force next time on Saturday, and they got to believe that they can go on the road against Wyoming and beat them. New Mexico game, the 21st of February, got to believe that game can indicate a lot for where the Bulldogs are. That, to me, is the benchmark of growth, and if it's another 10-point loss, then maybe that's just how far the Bulldogs can be as far as the improvement is, because they've improved vastly from what I thought they were in the beginning of the year, but I don't want it to stall, and I worry that it's stalling, and that's my takeaway from it, from last night's game. It's a hard place to win. I'm not expecting a win, but I'm saying tight. 4 minutes left. You're down 5, and you're pushing this a little bit. Maybe that's something I could have asked for in terms of that game last night. It never really was in danger for Utah State. But anyways, I know we got to take a break, and I want to do that. We're going to call Paul Metters here because we have brackets to reveal for the folks who are listening. High school basketball playoffs are here, and so we're going to review those on air right now. So we're going to take a break. We're going to get Paul Metters on the line. We're going to react to the brackets in real time here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench. A new season means big plays, hard hits, and injuries we track every week. But injuries don't just happen on the field. When life knocks you down, you need a strong team behind you. That's Davis and Van Wagenen, attorneys at law right here in Fresno. Davis and Van Wagenen fight for Valley families hurt in accidents, and you don't pay unless they win. It's a winning game plan from Davis and Van Wagenen. Visit davisvanwagenenlaw.com. Davis and Van Wagenen, your hometown injury attorneys.
Everybody loves Lennox. It's the best-selling HVAC system in Central California. And the number one Lennox dealer in the Valley? Donald P. Dick Air Conditioning. Save money by saving energy. Mr. Cool and Lennox are offering up to $1,800 in rebates that will save you plenty. But this offer ends February 13th, so call now, 255-1644. Nobody knows more about heating, cooling, and solar than Donald P. Dick and Lennox. For details on the $1,800 in rebates, call 255-1644.
If you're hungry, Toledo's Mexican Restaurant has a deal for you can't ignore. Right now, it's the 10 for $10 deal. 10 menu items for just $10. Use promo code ESPN and get an additional $5 off. That's more food for less money. With 3 convenient locations, Toledo's is always nearby. This deal won't last. Fuel up today. Toledo's Mexican Restaurant, 10 for $10, plus $5 off with promo code ESPN.
At Chichancy Gold Resort and Casino, we're serving up a deal you don't want to miss. Introducing Deal and Dine, where your game earns you a feast. Buy in for just $200 at any table game. Play for 1 hour and enjoy a free buffet meal at the California Market Buffet. Valid Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 12 a.m. to 10 p.m. Play big, eat big, win big. Deal and Dine, only at the Chichancy Gold Resort and Casino.
A new year of savings is shifting into overdrive. The Start Something New sales event is officially landed at Fresno Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. Start your year with power and savings like 0% APR for 60 months on all 2026 Ram 1500 Laramie and Bighorn models. And all new 2026 Ram trucks come standard with America's best full-size pickup warranty, 100,000 miles or 10 years. Or unleash legendary capability and take home a 2025 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon with a massive $11,000 off MSRP. When you shop local, you save big. And no one delivers value like Fresno Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. Plus, we're offering a free $50 gift card just for test driving any new vehicle. These deals won't last long. Join us during the Start Something New sales event at family-owned and operated Fresno Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. Find us online at FresnoChrysler.com or visit us on Blackstone between Bullard and Sierra. Must finance and be approved through SFS. Ram purchase based on 0 down in lieu of rebates. $1,667 per month per $1,000 finance. $0 security deposit required. One at this offer. $50 American Express gift card mailed after test drive. More than 5 at this Jeep offer. On approved credit through Stellantis Financial Services. See dealer for details. Expires 2/2/26.
All American Glass, Fresno's go-to since 1990.
When it comes to auto glass, you want people who know what they're doing. That's why All American Glass is a certified member of the Auto Glass Safety Council. And if your vehicle has advanced driver assistance systems, here's something important. After a window replacement, forward-facing cameras must be properly recalibrated or your safety features may not work as intended. Make sure it's done right the first time. Save money and keep you and your family safe with All American Glass.
Get a free quote today at aagfresno.com.
It's the best time of year, playoff football, and there's no better way to get ready to watch the big game than going to your local grocery outlet for their amazing selection. Keep your friends coming over to your place with an awesome selection of meat, snacks, beer, or wine to cheer on your team. And let's talk about the savings. All you got to do is download the Grocery Outlet app and go to town with the best deals in those football party essentials. Stop by all of our participating locations, including Northwest Fresno, Southeast Fresno, Downtown Fresno, Kerman, and Sanger. Tell them Phil Bonatti sent you. All right, welcome back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno. And we got some breaking news here. Basketball brackets. We got high school basketball brackets. We were projecting them last night. They are a mystery no more. And to break it down with me, I'm sure he's looking at the same screen I am. Paul Metters is on the Lee's Air hotline with me. It's too good not to have him on. Paul, how are we doing on this Wednesday?
Phil, I'm used to sitting right next to you, talking with you about stuff. Now we're on the radio. Seems a little odd, but I'm doing great. Yeah, the brackets came out a little bit sooner than we had anticipated. I actually checked it at 2:09 on my computer here at school, and they were up. I'm like, oh my gosh, about 45 minutes earlier than we anticipated. So yeah, they're out, and I'm ready to break them down with you.
And I haven't set them on air yet, so for those who are driving around, this is going to be the first time they're hearing them if they haven't heard the news. So why don't we just go right through it? So bracket reveal style. I'll go with the Division I. I'm going to give the matchups and the seedings here. I'll just go through it. So on Friday, you're going to have a play-in round because this is going to be a 9-team bracket. And it's going to be Centennial hosting Clovis East, who will be an 8 versus 9 matchup. They will play for a chance to go to St. Joseph's on Tuesday. St. Joseph is a 1 seed as expected there in Division I. You move down the bracket. That winner of the St. Joseph game will take on the winner of the 4 versus 5 seed. The 4 seed is Bakersfield Christian. The 5 seed is San Joaquin Memorial. The 3 seed on the other side of the bracket is Clovis North. They'll have Clovis West as the 6 seed, and the number 2 seed is Buchanan, who will host Bullard, who is the 7th seed. Paul, 9-team bracket. We were kind of trying to figure out how many teams would be in this D1 bracket. Was 9 the number you were expecting?
Kind of. I wasn't totally shocked. I think the main issue is moving Clovis East, who is the 9 seed in Division I, moving him down to Division II, I think would create an interesting scenario in Division II that we're going to get to in just a second, because Clovis East has 2 wins over Clovis High. Clovis High actually with the 2 seed in Division I or Division II. I don't want to spoil that quite yet. But yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise. The only thing that's really secure, one of the great things about having 8 teams in Division I is that all 8 of the teams qualify for the state tournament. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's kind of a real neat thing for the Central Section is all 8 of the Division I teams. So now the winner of the Centennial Clovis East is guaranteed a chance to win a state championship. But 9, not a huge surprise. Again, if they would have went 10, I think that 10th team would have created some interesting matchups, obviously, and the trickle-down effect in Division II. But, I would have liked the 8 teams, but, hey, there's that Friday, right? Every team basically would get a bye anyway in Division I. So they're going to, have basically the eight full teams on Tuesday, if you want to think of it that way.
Right. And the drama, of course, we were talking about it. We had both two of the 3 coaches on after our game last night talking about that 3 through 5 seeding spot. And, of course, you did not want to be a 4 or 5 if you're going to get on that St. Joseph side. Clovis North gets the good draw. They draw the long straw. So do you think they got it right, the 3 seed going to Clovis North?
Well, there's not a lot of subjectiveness with these the seedings and the brackets, and that's one of the concepts that I think a lot of people don't quite understand. It's done by Max Preps, and there are some tiebreakers and some, winning league matters, obviously the head-to-head matchups. So, with Clovis North being the 3 seed on Max Preps, and, they didn't play San Joaquin Memorial. They didn't play Bakersfield Christian, who was the 4-5 game. They had those wins against Clovis West. So, if you go strictly by the Max Preps ranking, that's exactly where Clovis North lands. So, Buchanan at the 2 was pretty much a lock after winning track and their strength of schedule. But Clovis North at number 3, that's where they are in Max Preps, so that's where they had to put them. But you're right, Phil, that 4 or 5 matchup with Bakersfield Christian and San Joaquin Memorial. Now, San Joaquin Memorial is 4th on Max Preps, Bakersfield Christian 5, but because Bakersfield Christian beat them in the head-to-head matchup, they get the home game.
Yeah, so I know we were talking to Coach Brown last night. He felt like they should have been in 3 no matter what happened last night. So, and even Tony was talking about maybe reevaluating the whole process of this and what matters in terms of league championships. Of course, he benefits again in the 3 spot, but what do you think the coaches feel like should be evaluated here in terms of the seeding? Because, as you said, it's kind of an interesting system the way it's kind of determined, but maybe it's not perfect.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, Phil, that the number 1 tiebreaker is the head-to-head, And then winning league is important. And, Coach Brown mentioned that Bakersfield Christian, they're the undefeated champs in their league. They actually weren't really challenged very much. Clovis North, second place at 8-2. So he felt that was enough as far as the selection committee is concerned to bump them up to that 3 seed. He said that on air last night, but the committee decided that wasn't enough to put them ahead of Clovis North.
It's going to be interesting to see who comes out of it. It could get pretty chalky in this division, but who knows? Who knows where we see it? Memorial and Christian seems like the best game of the Tuesday night slate for sure, and I would imagine a lot of eyeballs on that one. Any other thoughts on D1 before we move over to D2?
Well, a lot of talk about St. Joseph, ranked 4th in the state, defending champs. Had Tom Mott on the show on Saturday. Really strong team. Everybody's facing them again. Buchanan, I think, defensively, how they game plan, their schemes, their bench depth. Tom Orlich, who just won his 900th game a couple weeks ago. If it's chalk again, like last year with Buchanan and St. Joseph making it to Sound Arena, I think that's going to be a pretty darn good game. I think that would be a pretty good challenge for St. Joseph.
Let's go to D2 now, and I'll reveal the matchups here. I'm going to go from the top of the bracket all the way to the bottom, and so I'll give you the matchups here. The 1 seed, they determined that to be Atascadero. It's a 15-team bracket, so Atascadero gets a bye. They do not have to play Friday. They will play on Tuesday of next week. They will get the winner of Sanger versus Hanford, who Sanger is the 8th seed. They'll be the home team. So they host that against Hanford, who's the 9. The next side of the bracket, you got number 5 Porterville playing Arroyo Grande, who's a 12 seed. They will face the winner of the 4-seeded Hoover Patriots, who will take on Frontier out of Bakersfield, who's the 13 seed. On the 3 seed, you got Bakersfield High, and they got Redwood, who's the 14 seed. The 6th seed on that side of the bracket is Liberty of Bakersfield. They host San Luis Obispo. On the 7th seed down there at the bottom of the bracket, you have Mission College Prep, who is a defending champ in D2, hosting Lemoore. They will take on the winner of the 2-seed Clovis Cougars, who host Stockdale. This feels like a pretty loaded D2 bracket, Paul, and what do you make of the format, the 15 teams, Atascadero getting the bye?
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised, but the committee felt that head-to-head win over Clovis propelled them to that top seed. I didn't dig deep enough to figure out that one, but on December 1st, Atascadero beat them actually pretty handily, 70-50. So they put Atascadero as the 1, Clovis 2. Bakersfield is the 3 team. Now, the interesting thing about this, Phil, is if you go to Max Preps, there's Clovis sitting at number 6. Again, last night's games aren't factored into this. It resets on Monday. But they went on this. And then you look at the 11 team on Max Preps, and that's Bakersfield. And then there's Atascadero at number 12. So in essence, according to Max Preps and the rankings, which includes strength of schedule, Atascadero leapfrogged both Bakersfield and Clovis High to get that top seed. So that was kind of an interesting development. And then, you throw in, what if Clovis East would have went down to D2? I think that would have muddied up a little bit more. I think that's why the committee decided to go with 9 teams in Division 1.
We got Mission College Prep, who's defending it, of course. I'm eyeing some of that side of the bracket, but if you had to project a matchup in the Tuesday side of things, unless there's a Friday game you're really looking at, but if you had to project at the Tuesday side, there's some really good ones out there, right? I think Hoover Porterville is a really good one. Bakersfield against Liberty of Bakersfield, we'll see what that looks like. Clovis Mission College Prep. I think this has a real good chance to have some good quarterfinals.
No, absolutely. I agree, Phil. And I'm actually looking at the winner of Sanger and Hanford. Both those teams are really strong, have some really good players. That's not going to be an easy game by any means for Atascadero at that 1 seed, whoever comes out of that one.
Right. All right. Unless we're good, we're going to move on to D3 if you're good there, Paul. We're going to roll on. Yeah, D3. 16 teams, and this one's going to be loaded too, so let's reveal it right here. Number 1 seed will be the Tulare Union Tribe. They will host 16-seeded Selma. You have them facing the winner of the 8-seeded Ragetti against the 9-seed Fresno High. Then on the next side of the bracket, you have 5-seed Kingsburg, the Vikings, who will host Templeton, who's the 12-seed. 4-seeded Fresno Christian will match up there with Sierra Pacific, who is the 13 seed. So could see a Fresno Christian Kingsburg rematch potential if it stays chalk. 3-seeded Justin Garza will take on 14-seeded Tulare Western. You got 6-seeded South out of Bakersfield hosting 11-seeded Garces Memorial. Number 7-seeded North out of Bakersfield will take on 10-seeded Santa Ynez. In the 2-seed CVC, Central Valley Christian will host 15-seeded Ridgeview. Big storyline here, Paul. What do you make of this Division III bracket?
Well, first of all, I love this bracket, right? I mean, these are the types of schools that I love. The one school towns. You know, the Fresno Christian is probably the biggest surprise, bumped up from D4. I got to go back to one interesting fun fact, Phil, that I didn't mention talking about D2. Atascadero is actually a base D3 team, so they went all the way from base D3 to the top seed in D2. So
that's that 25% rule, in fact, right, Paul? That's that 25% rule, yeah.
100%. Yeah, that's the 25% rule. And you don't see that too often, right? Being bumped up a whole division to the top seed. Fresno Christian, we know their success last year in winning the D4 championship, going all the way to the state championship before losing. I thought they might stay in D4, but their strength of schedule, despite being pretty low, obviously only one loss on the year. You got a really strong team this year. Bumped up to the 4th seed in this division. Tulare Union actually lost to Tulare Western in their regular season final as the 1 seed. They were bumped up from D4 as well. Central Valley Christian, they held that tiebreaker over Justin Garza. That's the reason why they are number 2, and also against Kingsburg. They beat them twice. So Central Valley Christian, a strong team at that 2 seed. And don't forget about South as the 6th, North as the 7th. Those 2 teams, man, they absolutely get after it down in Bakersfield. They met twice this season. They're no easy game as well. So I think 1 through 7 is extremely strong in this Division III.
Yeah, it's going to be a good road there Tuesday through Thursday, and we'll see where they go. Saturday at 4 p.m. is their championship. Looking at some other brackets, we got D4, D5, and D6. I can reveal D4 real quick for the folks out there. Number 1 is Sanger West, which is a team we've been kind of keeping an eye on, Paul. I'll tell you what, we've been kind of circling around, maybe doing one of their games. Sanger West is the top seed. They're playing Golden Valley, the 16 seed. They'll be on the side with Miramonte and Mission Oak. Miramonte, the 8 seed, Mission Oak, the 9. You got 5-seeded Emmanuel taking on number 12 Pioneer Valley. You got 4-seeded Monachi taking on 13-seed Cabrillo. 3-seeded McFarland has 14-seed Lompoc. 6-seeded Kerman, shout out Von Bibioff, we're going to have him tomorrow on the show, taking on 11-seeded Golden West. 7-seed Madera, 10-seeded Sierra will play each other. Then 2-seeded McLean, who we've seen this year, taking on 15-seeded Corcoran. Paul, I like this D4 bracket. They've got some really good teams in there.
No, I agree. And Sanger West, you know, the success that they've had this year, only 3 losses. And there's McLean sitting at number 2, man. If those 2 teams meet for a third time in the championship game, that game is going to be a wild one. Another team to keep track of, I'm glad you mentioned it, is the Kerman Lions. You know, a couple years ago, they won a Division IV championship. So, you know, as a 6 seed, they can be dangerous. McFarland has a pretty good squad this year. Their strength of schedule is a little bit low. So, hey, I'm looking at chalk in this one with Sanger West and McLean.
Any other thoughts on the brackets? I know we have D5 and D6. We just don't have enough time to talk about them. But any other thoughts on the bracket release? Of course, we got girls tomorrow. Unless you want to make some predictions on the girls, or I think we have a pretty good idea now based off of last night's results. We know what 1 through the top seeds will be in Division I, right?
Yeah, even though Clovis West, and congratulations to Clovis. I'm sure everybody's listening just saw how that amazing game ended against Central East last night. I mean, gosh, that length of the court path with 1.9 and flipping it up for a win. That was, I mean, that's high school basketball at its finest. Absolutely. So I think Clovis is actually going to get the number 1. Clovis West is going to get the number 2, winning the track, supersedes the 1-to-1 head-to-head matchup between Clovis and Clovis West. So that means that Central East is probably going to be the 3 seed in Division I. So how about this? The Central East potential, again, I'm saying potential, Central East and Clovis West semifinal with Clovis High as the top seed. So great theater as always in the girls' brackets. We'll find out in a little bit about that one. But my overall thought about the boys' bracket is, just a couple surprises. Fresno Christian being bumped up at Pascadero. I guess if we looked at it with a fine-tooth comb, would figure out that they are the 1 seed. I just really wish that Bakersfield and Clovis High, weren't on the same side of the bracket, because that would have been a fun matchup at Snellen Arena. But hey, you got to win that game to get to the championship if you get there. So hey, always a lot of speculation, but now it's time. No excuses, right? Play the games in front of you. Division I is loaded as always. So Bill, we got some decisions to make what games we're going to go to, but I'm sure we'll make the right ones.
I'm sure we will. There's going to be some good ones, and we'll see how Friday's action turns out, and we'll see what the girls' brackets look like. Paul, appreciate you stopping by. You got the FPU Sunbird Sports Show later tonight, so you'll be hearing them 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock with the esports team of Fresno Pacific. Can't wait for it. Paul, drive safe, and we'll talk to you later, huh?
All right, thanks, bud. Appreciate you.
All right, Paul Metters here on 1430 ESPN. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more show on 1430 ESPN.
More reasons to dine with Lynn's Restaurant Group, introducing the LRG Elite Program. Members earn 5 times back every time they dine at Spicy J's, J-Pot, Oiza, Hino Oishi, Ramen Hayashi, Lynn's Fusion, Ichi, Shabu, and JT. Enjoy 1 free appetizer or dessert every day, a birthday bonus, and a members-only anniversary reward. Join for just $18 a month or only $198 annually plus tax. Sign up in-store or on the Lynn's Restaurant Group app. LRG Elite. Dining elevated. Terms apply.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save offer, we'll cover up to 90 days of payment processing, provide no-cost equipment, and offer competitive rates so your business can keep more of what it earns. And behind it all is a local team that truly understands your goals and is ready to help you reach them. Make the switch. Save with FFB. Visit ffb.bank to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Basketball is in season at Fresno City College. Come cheer on the Rams, both men's and women's teams, and support local hoops talent right here at FCC. From tip-off to the final buzzer, Rams basketball brings fast-paced action and exciting moments worth watching. Want to catch the next game or check out other upcoming spring athletic events? Visit FCCRams.com for basketball schedules and the full lineup of Fresno City College spring sports. Get in the stands and support the Rams. Fresno City College Athletics, bringing the action all season long.
Back the birds, Fresno. Don't miss another week of Fresno Pacific University Sunbirds action at the Special Event Center.
Dribbling with the left hand. She's going to fire another 3. That one good as well. 3 straight threes on 3 straight possessions.
All games are just $10 for fans 18 and older. 17 and under get in free. Back the birds, Fresno. Catch both men's and women's basketball before the season wraps up. Don't miss the excitement. For schedule and ticket information, visit FPUathletics.com today. See you there.
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench for my friends at Valley Athletics, the new go-to sports facility in the Central Valley. Founded by Valley legend Vance Wahlberg and former Bulldog volleyball coach Jonathan Winder. Valley Athletics allows athletes to really shine at volleyball, basketball, and pickleball. Visit valleyathletics.co right now to learn more about enrolling in our current volleyball and basketball offerings that include league play. That's valleyathletics.co. Proud sponsors of high school athletics.
At Clausen Honda in Fresno, you're not just getting a car, you're stepping into a full service experience. From the latest new Honda models to certified pre-owned vehicles, a cafe to grab your morning coffee, and a team dedicated to making you feel respected and well served. Whether you're trading in, buying, or scheduling service for your ride, Clausen Honda has you covered with transparent financing, a full service center. Drive in today and see how easy getting behind the wheel can be. Clausen Honda at 6346 North Blackstone Avenue in Fresno.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3?
Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm. But finding an ideal replacement takes some training.
This is like herding cats.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Sports fans of the Central Valley, are you ready to step up your game day grilling? Step into the Butcher Boss and discover
here, but I had to get him on a microphone, of course. Tim, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I know off season I can be everywhere, not quite as everywhere as you are right now, but it was nice to cross paths with you today.
Yeah. What brings you down to the World Ag Expo? Continuing our conversations and interviews here on 1430 ESPN from the World Ag Expo in Tulare. Pleased to be joined by another representative from Helena Agri, Patrick O'Connor here, who's back and ready to roll after last year you were on my show. Good to have you again on this year.
Yeah, thanks for having us back.
Yeah,
thank you.
Great to be here. Of course, 59th Annual World Ag Expo. I know you haven't been all 59, but how many is this for you?
This will be, I think, about seven or eight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So didn't grow up in the area, so started coming once I moved down here, and so this will, it'll be about 7 or 8.
The change every year, every time you come, a little bit of changes you notice every single time you come?
Yeah, a little bit. Your booth was over there, and now you moved it over here
there
to
you
this
go.
side.
That's a big one.
So, yeah, you see new equipment coming out, new innovations, a lot of automation. We talked about that a little bit last year, but you see that still being the trend, moving in that direction a little bit more. Equipment becoming more, I guess you could say, efficient, if that's in the fuel category or whatnot. But yeah, you see stuff changing slowly, some new stuff coming in, people showing their new projects, like that right across from us, that eco
robotics.
Bobotics or whatever.
Yeah.
That's new to me. I haven't seen that. So see some little booths popping up here and there.
Is that what you're kind of monitoring when you get here, when you're obviously you work for Helena Agri, and is this just kind of staying in the know of what's changing, what's innovating in the world of agriculture?
Yeah, even if it's something I'm not a part of, or it's not a part of like agronomy or pest management or something, I like to know what's going on still and what's coming out. Like, I walked by their booth and it looked like some new kind of planter that they're coming out with, and it also looked like it was autonomous. So just kind of seeing what's going on, because growers are going to start adapting some of these new technologies and using them in their fields, and they help us in ways, but they could create other issues, and so you just kind of got to be aware of what's going on, what's being pulled across the dirt.
Then tell me what you do with Helena, because of course it's a whole wide range of things that Helena can provide, but what do you do specifically with Helena again?
So I'm a PCA, so a crop consultant essentially. So I do pest management for a lot of growers, so whether that's vineyards, orchards, open ground, row crops, and then agronomy is the big one. So fertility programs, basically what are we doing from when that permanent crop wakes up to harvest or goes to bed, or when that annual crop gets planted and starts germinating. So agronomy on the fertility side, and then pest management as well. Some customers only use me for agronomy, some only use me for pest management. Majority of them I do both of that for them. So It just depends, but that's at Helena what we do is pest management and agronomy.
Yeah, and the things change every year as it goes. I remember last year it was a little bit of a interesting year. This year, I hear the summer was nice for a lot of growers. We've hit the water a little bit at some good points in this year. How have you seen the year of agriculture since we last spoke last year?
Well, since we last spoke, the summer was great. Weather was nice.
Yeah.
Not too many scorching hot days. It was easy on the crops for the most part. Pest pressure wasn't terrible. And then rolling into this winter, it's been nice. We got some early rains followed by some dry periods with some rains coming up in the forecast right now, which will help a lot. So it's starting off not too bad. Last year wrapped up okay.
Yeah.
Still some uncertainty with commodity prices moving into 2026 and what that'll look like. But we just got to keep going forward. Sigma still playing a part in the valley. Trying to figure out how that's going to unfold is a big question. We definitely know stuff is coming down the pipeline with that.
Yeah.
But how that affects certain individuals is kind of a mystery as of right now.
Right, and for the people who don't know, what is Sigma and what can it affect with farmers?
Sigma is, I don't actually know what it exactly stands for, so I was hoping you didn't ask that. But
you know what it does.
Yeah, so it's basically rules coming out on groundwater, how much you can pump, how much that's going to cost. If you over pump, there'll be penalties. How much surface water you're going to get. It's basically water. It comes down to water legislation and what areas, districts, GSAs you're in are going to determine how much water you're going to receive and how much water you can pull out of the ground. And then, again, penalties on top of over using the water supply in your area. That's just something that is in the near future, and we're going to have to get used to and try to work around.
And farmers, of course, the risks there, and in terms of because everyone's new to what those penalties are and where those thresholds are, right? And so, is it a matter of farmers getting used to the feel of what that'll look like versus, describe to me the cost benefit, the situation and the decisions that farmers are facing when you talk about Sigma like that, and what they're going to have to make decisions on in the future.
They're going to have to make decisions on what is economical to farm in that area based on the cost of water.
Right.
If they can farm in that area based on the cost of water. And then what ground you fallow, what ground you keep, do you pull trees and move to row crops? Do you go from row crops and put trees in? It's just there's just a lot of uncertainty. And how much water they're going to get on any given year based on rainfall, snowpack, reservoirs being full or not full. There's a lot of what ifs involved with it. There are every year, I don't know how to really word it, but I guess rules coming out on that'll have to be followed, and different regulations being put in place on how those are going to be enforced, essentially. So, like I said, there's just a lot of uncertainty with that, and we're kind of just going with it as it comes out and trying to manage that piece of it and figure out how to do better on less acres moving forward, which wraps back up into that agronomy piece.
Right, and so when it comes to the relationship that farmers in their decision making, and you mentioned the agronomy side of things and what you guys kind of provide, how do you balance that with what you tell me about the conversations you have with farmers in relation to what you provide in terms of that agronomy idea and what they have to weigh in the situations when you come in and have to consult on that?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. There's all kinds of stuff. It really just depends on the individual and what they're looking at and what they're growing, but man, when we arrive and we have those conversations, it kind of starts with a soil sample and what the dirt they're farming looks like, and then it moves into what they're planting and what they're yield could potentially be if they do X, Y, and Z, and then putting together that budget for them to kind of show them what the next 6 months or 8 months or 12 months will look like, and coming up with that realistic budget. That's the thing, right? You can do as much as you want, but there is a point of no return.
Right.
So you try to figure that out based on the ground they have and what they're going to do and their water supply and quality of everything they're putting on that piece of property, and it starts with those kinds of conversations with the guy and that kind of trust with that farmer, and then moving forward into implementing it and then servicing it. I mean, honestly, the conversation is probably one of the easier parts of the whole thing. It's like, hey, we got a plan, we're going to do X, Y, and Z from planting to harvest, and now we have to execute it. And then there's a lot of things that go in there. If you get a rainstorm and you can't get in the field, so now you're pushed back a little bit, or equipment breaks down and now you're pushed back a little bit. So the conversation's easy, but then it's getting to the process of doing everything in the service department, and that's what we excel at as well, is personnel.
One of the interesting things I've been hearing the last day or two here is how the equipment has advanced, right? And farmers are finding reasons to buy that kind of equipment. But one thing I hear is an issue is that not many people are specialized in knowing how to service that equipment, in a sense. And so when that does break down, it's hard to maybe find a way to get that machine running again. Is that something that is of a concern? Because of, the technological advances of everything seems great, but then you run into the issue of, well, I have such a specialized machine that maybe I have to wait X amount of time, and that obviously time is such a big factor for farmers out there.
Yeah. No, that's something we've ran into more and more as the years goes on, or the years go on.
Right.
Just like you said, because with all this automation comes computers, electronics, software, and sometimes it's not the actual piece of machinery. It could be a loose wire, or it could be something so minute, but people aren't familiar with it because they're not trained in that area. So wait times have gotten longer for certain pieces of equipment in certain instances, and there's not as many people trained or know how to fix those kinds of things.
Exactly.
And then on top of that is maybe you do get someone out, but the supply chain, having the part, being able to fix it there in the field and not having to drive to a warehouse 2 hours away and pick it up and then come back, and you're down for days at a time. So there's a lot of instances where that's been a problem, and how many people can afford to buy 2 tractors to have a backup.
You sit there as a farmer and you're like, I like the technology and what it's doing, but I have to weigh that. And is that something that a farmer usually sits there and has that discussion with themselves about in terms of that, right?
I think sometimes we don't think about those consequences when this new stuff's coming out until it affects us personally. We don't think about it, and it's all fine and good, and then breaks down 50 acres in, and you got a 200-acre field, and you got a storm coming in 3 days, and the guy can't get out to fix it, and the part's not here on the West Coast, and it's got to get shipped in, and it's a freak thing and whatnot, and then the cost associated with that as well. If it's not on warranty, or you got to fix it, and so there are a lot more problems that come with change, but also there's good.
Innovation. It's the thing about innovation is, like, obviously its intent is to streamline the work for a farmer, to make those variables that we've seen in the past not be a variable anymore in terms of how they yield, right?
Yeah, we try to eliminate a problem, but then sometimes we have more problems occur. And then we got to fix those. So, it's always evolving every year. Every year there's change, and every year there's different uncertainty, and we just try to manage that to get the best economical outcome at the end of the year.
And just many of the discussions you have, especially at Helena, and what you talk about, I just like talking about some of those interesting things that I continue to kind of learn about in the week, and I appreciate you kind of giving me the little insight on that from your perspective on it, because I think it's fascinating when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's fun, and we're always learning out here too. It's
Right.
always that's what makes this so fun. That's what makes this job interesting is you learn something every day. And it might not be about pest management or agronomy. It might be what a farmer's dealing with outside of that.
Right.
What hardships he's going through on the equipment side or on the planting side or on the seed side, and you get to learn about that as well and help him and yeah, we sell chemical, we sell fertilizer, but at the same time, like, we're here to help with that whole entire package,
Yep.
everything going on the farm. You know, we're not just in and out, care
Right.
about what we're doing, and
Right.
that's where you get to build the relationship, and it's so much fun. It's a blast. It's honestly a joy to get to be close to these guys and gals and work with them on such a personal level that a lot of people don't get to see.
Right. People can look you guys up, Helen Agri, of course, and you got the local folks here, including you, right?
Yeah, we got branches up and down the valley across the U.S. from east to west, and here locally we got a new facility up and running in Lemoore. So we moved from Hanford, and we are now in Lemoore off of Highway 41. A lot of cool things going on there. Got a big fertilizer farm, which goes back to agronomy. Got a lot bigger warehouse, gives us a lot more opportunities in the market to do some fun stuff and help growers out. Again, innovation. And then we got another facility in Exeter and Shafter and Kerman, and that's kind of the local areas that service the South Valley, you could say. And then, yeah, we got a website where you can find all that information and the locations, but yeah, I got guys up and down the valley, a good service team, equipment to do different fun stuff, doing a lot of new AI work, our high ground, which is kind of going big for us, which is kind of a full farm approach with agronomy and soil samples, and a lot of new data coming out with that, and some other big groups kind of adapting that technology. So that'll be fun as the years go on.
Right. AI might be the next year topic for me if we're going to get into it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's developing like crazy too.
Yeah, exactly.
These tractors are going to tell you information one day. They're going to spit it back and talk to you.
Right, exactly. Patrick, I appreciate the time as always, and enjoy the rest of World Ag Expo, and thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it was good to see you, and thanks for having us again, and appreciate the time.
Absolutely. So. All right. We'll take a break on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Welcome to A+ Signs.
Thanks. Yeah, I need some custom exterior signs for my business.
Great. What's the name of your business?
C+ Signs.
Wait, you own a sign company?
Yep, C+ Signs.
And you want us, A+ Signs, to make your signs?
Yeah, I need them really fast, and we can't touch our turnaround times.
We are kind of known for that.
For signs that stop traffic, drive traffic, and even direct traffic, call A+ Signs.
Remember, A+ has great technicians to service and repair signs, too.
Yeah, we got a guy, but he's afraid of ladders.
Hey, what have you got there? Travel brochures?
Yep. I'm working hard now, so someday I can see the world.
I know you've got a successful career going, but that looks expensive.
It's okay. My advisor at Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management has me on a plan aimed at my goal of financial independence.
Why Thiessen-Duker?
They're different. They use advanced AI technology to analyze all of my investment strategies and show me projections. It's technology a lot of other advisors don't use. And they're independent, so they can show me any investment option that's right for me, not just products from one Wall Street company.
That does sound different.
My goal one day is to have Thiessen-Duker help me convert my investments into income I can use to live on and travel the world.
I think I need Thiessen-Duker.
Just visit Thiessen-Duker.com and give them a call. The advisors of Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
The dealer in Dinuba that does. Yes, he does. He has great service to satisfy you. He'll put you in a car, used or new, with the real sense of community too. Buick, Chevy, GMC, he does it. Customs and accessories, he does it. Ed Dina's the dealer in Dinuba that does. Yes, he does.
So intense, so quick, so unmerciful. Those are just a few of the comments from farmers describing the devastating effects of their crop damage due to hail. If you're a farmer, you probably already know what it's like to watch helplessly as your cash crop is pummeled by hail. It's one of nature's most damaging weather conditions. What can you do about it? You can call Bowman & Associates, your local crop insurance specialist. They've been writing crop insurance for almost 40 years. Call Roger Kent or Quinn Bowman today and ask about crop hail insurance for stone fruit and grapes. They can design a private hail coverage that is specifically designed to meet your financial needs. Coverage can be purchased anytime and will go into effect within 72 hours. Easy to buy with no hassles. Don't gamble on your financial investment. Call the Ag Expo.
Your home for high school sports. 1430 ESPN, the Valley's local sports leader. KFIG Fresno.
I'm Christine Lisi. The 76ers will be without center Joel Embiid tonight against the Knicks in the opener of a Wednesday NBA doubleheader. Tip-off bottom of the hour on ESPN. Embiid out due to right knee injury management. He felt soreness in the knee during Saturday's win. He'll be reevaluated after this weekend's All-Star break. Knicks Sixers followed by the streaking Spurs and Warriors at 10 Eastern. San Antonio's won 5 in a row, is second in the West, thanks in part to a 22-year-old megastar who's only getting better. Notes ESPN's Chinea Gwumake.
Victor Wembanyama is absolutely right now the most dominant player in the NBA. And this is no knock on SGA, what he's been able to do. Nikola Jokic, ever since he's been back. Luka Doncic, his phenomenal numbers. He approaches every second that he's playing like it's a sacrament. So is he probably the best player? No, he's going to be that soon. But is he right now the most dominant player? I believe so.
The NBA handed down suspensions for Monday's Bobcats-Pistons brawl. The Hornets-Pistons brawl, I should say. Detroit's Isaiah Stewart, 7 games for leaving the bench and taking part in the altercation. 4 games apiece for Charlotte's Miles Bridges and Moussa Diabate for fighting and escalating the altercation. Detroit's Jalen Duren, 2 games for starting the altercation and fighting. The suspensions start with tonight's games. 3 major leaguers will undergo surgery on hamate bone injuries. Mets shortstop Francisco Lindor, Arizona outfielder Corbin Carroll, and Orioles second baseman Jackson Holliday. Regarding opening day, Mets optimistic about Lindor, Carroll questionable, and Holliday's out. U.S. speed skater Jordan Stolz won gold in the men's 1,000 meters at the Olympics.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, Sam Darnold proved that you can resurrect your career. I'll tell you which QBs are primed to have a Darnold-like resurgence. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again. In anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guests.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks. But super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right, Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, here live from the World Ag Expo in Tulare. Hope you're enjoying yourself, walking around. Wonderful weather here as we are located at the Coast County's Peterbilt spot here on the northeast side, I don't know, north side of the Expo grounds up here. So I'm facing some beautiful mountains up ahead of me in terms of that. But good to be here. Good to be alongside y'all for one more hour before we close up here at the Expo for day 2. We got one more day tomorrow, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. 4 p.m. will be the closing time here at the Expo, but excited to be here and alongside you folks. Big thanks to a couple of our guests in the last bit. Patrick O'Connor, Helena Agri, joining us in the last segment before we close out the hour there. Of course, Paul Metters, who you listened to earlier as well. So a couple guests there. Couple more guests to come on. Of course, we have coming up later in the show, Mike Sorensen and Curtis Crisp, presidents and GM of Coast County's Peterbilt, who's joining me there. Later in this hour, we'll have Tim Slack, voice of the Grizzlies as well. So plenty to dive into there. Excited to get into it with you all in terms of that. Of course, it's a beautiful day beautiful afternoon. FPU Sunbird Sports Show coming up at 6 o'clock tonight on the 790 side. So once you listen to this show, wrap it up, switch on over, 790 at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. You want to listen to some good FPU Fresno Pacific talk there. Been meeting a lot of great people, been meeting some fun people here at the Ag Expo. People have been coming up to the booth, just chatting with me, asking about Fresno State football, asking about all different kind of projected things. Mock drafts. I had a guy just yell at me, "Hey, talk about mock drafts." I'm a little early in the game for that right now. I know for sure Fernando Mendoza won. I would imagine that would be the pick coming up, but maybe we see it down the road. Folks, it's April. With the draft is in April, and it's always around my birthday. I know that. So end of April when it comes around. All I know is the Pats are at pick 31. And that's all I care about in terms of it. But anyways, it's good to be here. And like I said, I was chatting with a lot of people about Fresno State football. And a reminder tonight, and I think they're going to do it on their YouTube, and it's going to be on the social medias. Pac-12 is going to announce, they officially announced it last night, they announced the announcement that they're going to release the Pac-12 football schedule tonight, 6:30, for us folks here on the Pacific time zone. And they called it a little Pac-12 After Dark release in terms of it, and what we are expecting, which is an unprecedented twist to the schedule, whatever that means in terms of it. So things get a little weird in Pac-12 After Dark as they're marketing in terms of it. So I'm a little excited, of course. I'm hoping this doesn't fall flat in what we're looking at. But, Jorge, are you hyped that you get to know when and where Fresno State Bulldogs are going to play this season? Are you hyped that you're going to know by 6:30 tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be good. Well, I'm hearing, though, it's like there's going to be a flex. There's going to be a flex everywhere, so I don't know. I feel like that's the big
flex is what you're hearing, huh?
That's the big, yeah. I guess that's the big announcement they're gonna have. So we'll see. We'll see what it is.
Is it going to be the flex like I was talking about, or do you think it's going to be a different flex? Like, what do you think?
Everybody that I've been reading has been saying exactly what you said. You know, that they're gonna have like another season flex game that is gonna have like 4 teams. Basically, in order to have like one champion that goes to the what's it called?
Yeah, to the conference championship, the Pac-12 championship,
yeah,
right? And then they get to the group of 5 too. You could be the group of 5 that goes to the college football playoff.
Exactly. It's all built for the college football playoff. That's basically
right.
what they're doing.
And what I think the benefit is you get your contenders better games at the end of the year. Because what are we judging these teams based off of is what kind of wins you have. So the concept, right, and I didn't really explain this on the show yesterday, but I was talking with a few people here when I was thinking about it, and the more I think about this flex scheduling, if this is going to be the case, is you want to allow your teams to have as good of a resume going in. So why not force the good teams to play the other good teams in your conference instead of a worthless game against, someone who's in the basement of the conference at the moment, like San Jose State from the Mountain West side, or someone like Air Force in terms of it. That's not a worthwhile opponent to play, and yet you have to play them. It doesn't benefit you. But if you say Fresno State has to play a Boise State again due to a bracket style, well, the perception is you're playing a better schedule because of it. You're going to maximize your ability to play good opponents. And so that's the other benefit to it, because you put it on your resume that you played a semi-playoff game already, and then you get into the playoff mentality of going to the conference championship. Your hope is that the best teams actually play it out to get there, and you know for a fact that you have the 2 best teams in that conference championship, which, let's be honest, I think a lot of people are tired of random teams getting into the conference championships because there's arbitrary rules that surround it, right? Luckily for some conferences, like the Big Ten, you saw the 2 best teams get to that game. Now, they didn't really necessarily play everybody in terms of the conference, but they got there with Indiana and Ohio State. But when we talk about the SEC or when we talk about the ACC, like, we're not kidding ourselves in saying that Duke ended up saying they deserved to be there by winning, but we wholeheartedly believed Duke should not have been in that game as opposed to some other school that was a little bit better, but because of the arbitrary rules. We argue with this the Mountain West. I don't believe Boise was a strong champion. I firmly believe New Mexico should have been in that game, and they rightfully feel a certain way about that. And so why not create a merit system where you have at least the top 4 get there and make it into a bracket style where we litigate it from there. Now, who makes it from the top 4? If there's a little bit of a tie between the 4 and the 5 and the 5 and the 6 and all of that kind of situation, and maybe that creates another sense of turmoil, but at least in my question, without question, you have head-to-head absolutely impacting tiebreakers, right? Because everyone will have played each other in such a small conference, right? So there is so much to align in terms of what you're looking at that it's a very easy comparable resume in this conference as opposed to an incomparable resume as, let's say, if Fresno State was trying to find out if they were good enough to be up against New Mexico. We didn't play New Mexico last year. But if they were comparing each other, it'd be very hard to do that. Now in this conference, Fresno State will play everybody. So there's no question of who's better than whom because of certain matchups and results. I look forward to what the announcement will look like. I do firmly believe Fresno State is in a great position to compete in this conference. I think they're absolutely set up very well to be kind of the opening team to lead this conference into a championship. By the way, history loves to repeat itself. Fresno State, if you do remember, in its maiden voyage in the Mountain West, ended up winning the darn thing. So, or at least tied to win it. And then in 2013, they won the first ever Mountain West championship game. So I like our odds in terms of coming into a new conference because Fresno State has a rich history of starting out strong in the conference times when they come into new conferences. So we're looking forward to what the 6:30 announcement will look like, who will play where. Jorge, I got to imagine some road games Fresno State could face. I would imagine the Pac-12 is going to try to look at what last year's schedule and avoid teams playing repeat road games in terms of it. So I'm making a prediction that Fresno will host Boise this year. I'm going to make a prediction on that. I'm going to make a prediction that Fresno State will have to go to San Diego State. I'm making a prediction that Fresno State will have to go on the road to Utah State. I'm making a prediction that Fresno State will host Oregon State because those are all the teams I think I recall that are going over there. Oh, and they will have to host Colorado State. I think that's the other team that's coming into the new Pac-12 that they face. And, of course, they'll have Texas State and Washington State to figure out. And we'll have to see how that all kind of shapes up. I think the only downside is, and I talked about it with Jackson Moore, you have the potential loss of a home game. Potentially Fresno State only gets 5 home games next year if this flex scheduling works out in that certain way. And unfortunately, that might hurt in terms of the money side of things and what that'll look like. But I wonder if there's some kickers in there in terms of playoff bonus. You get an opportunity to kind of share as a conference in some sort of revenue side if you end up protecting yourself because you don't get the opportunity to host a game that you certainly do. But anyways, enough on that. We'll see what happens at 6:30 tonight. Fresno State will know who they're playing in the conference conference schedule, Pac-12 schedule release tonight, 6:30. I look forward to that as well. We're just getting started here. Final hour of our show before the World Ag Expo ends. We got a couple interviews coming up, so stay tuned for that. We'll be right back on 1430 ESPN.
The Fashion Furniture President's Day event is going on now. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic sets, up to $800 off Stearns and Foster sets, and up to $1,000 off Beauty Rest Black sets, all at Sleep Retreat inside Fashion Furniture. Plus, right now, free local delivery and 48-month special financing available. Incredible deals for a better night's sleep, free local delivery, and 48-month special financing available. Fashion furniture. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Bulldog basketball is back and heating up the Save Mart Center. Don't miss any of the exciting action as both the men's and women's basketball teams take on the Mountain West this season. Make sure to bring the whole family to root for your hometown Bulldogs as they compete for that Mountain West championship Fresno would love to bring home. Tickets start as low as $5 for select games. Grab them at GoBulldogs.com today, and we'll see you at the biggest party in the Valley. Go Dogs!
At Helena Agri-Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm. That's why we combine cutting-edge technology with superior product. Helena's agri-intelligence solutions use in-depth analysis to identify potential problems in the field before they take root. Combined with a complete line of high-quality crop production and crop protection inputs, Helena has the tools to help you increase productivity, enhance performance, and maximize your return on investment. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer to create the right plan for your farm with Helena products and agri-intelligence solutions.
For over 60 years, we at DeBudo Defendus Insurance, a multi-generational and family-owned company, have proudly provided high-quality risk management and insurance solutions to local businesses. We stand on a tradition of solving insurance pain points in a wide range of industries like agriculture, construction, hospitality, transportation, and many others. A partnership and personal touch is what you can expect from us at DeBudo Defendus Insurance. Visit DIBU.com and get the business insurance you need today.
License number 0E02096.
In 2026, the stakes have never been higher. Get ready, because we're giving away $4 million. From massive cash drawings to luxury prizes, this is your year to win big. $4 million in prizes, dozens of ways to win all year long. Only at Chichancy Gold Resort and Casino, where every day could be the day.
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench. A new season means big plays, hard hits, and injuries we track every week. But injuries don't just happen on the field. When life knocks you down, you need a strong team behind you. That's Davis and Van Wagenen, attorneys at law right here in Fresno. Davis and Van Wagenen fight for Valley families hurt in accidents, and you don't pay unless they win. It's a winning game plan from Davis and Van Wagenen. Visit DavisVanWagenenLaw.com. Davis and Van Wagenen, your hometown injury attorneys.
So intense, so quick, so unmerciful. Those are just a few of the comments from farmers describing the devastating effects of their crop damage due to hail. If you're a farmer, you probably already know what it's like to watch helplessly as your cash crop is pummeled by hail. It's one of nature's most damaging weather conditions. What can you do about it? You can call Bowman & Associates, your local crop insurance specialist. They've been writing crop insurance for almost 40 years. Call Roger Kent or Quinn Bowman today and ask about crop hail insurance for stone fruit and grapes. They can design a private hail coverage that is specifically designed to meet your financial needs. Coverage can be purchased anytime and will go into effect within 72 hours. Easy to buy with no hassles. Don't gamble on your financial investment. Call the Ag experts today. Bowman & Associates. Remember, for a green thumb investment that equalizes Mother Nature, call Bowman & Associates. 499-2020. That's 499-2020.
Bowman & Associates, the crop insurance specialist.
License number OF64178.
All right, another great interview we're about to have here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, live here at the Ag Expo. And I'm pleased to be joined by a couple guys who are here, I hear, for the first time from Coast County's Peterbilt. We got Mike Sorensen, president of Coast County Peterbilt, and Curtis Crisp, who's the GM of Coast County Peterbilt. Guys, good to be here. Welcome to the Central Valley. How are you doing on this afternoon?
Doing great. Thanks for the warm welcome. I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited to be here at the World Ag Expo.
Right.
The largest of its kind for 59 years. As I found out today, I didn't know that before.
Yeah, well,
so
you got the world in the title. You know, it's global, and everybody's here. And Curtis, you're getting your feet wet on the week so far?
I am. It was a great start. We gave up a couple of scholarships to some outstanding high school students.
Yeah.
So that was fun this morning at the opening ceremonies. But yeah, this is a great event, and just kind of walking around and seeing how everybody has things set up and seeing customers, and it's been fantastic.
All I hear about is the scale of it, right? The scale. When you first come here for the first time, and that, to be honest, last year was my first time here, and so the scale of it and the amount of folks here, you know, did it even surpass your expectations for what this World Ag Expo could be?
I mean, for me, I knew we were participants in a dual way with the scholarship and actually having a place here to exhibit. This blew my expectations away. I had no clue at all.
Yeah.
That it was this, the scope was this large, and the diversity of the exhibitors. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And the folks who come here, Curtis, you're talking to some people already, right? You've been meeting some people. Like how the far reaches of where give me some examples of some folks you've talked to here already.
Well, we had an interesting lunch earlier where we met a gentleman who runs a business out of Fresno, but they do their business all over the United States. And so just, you know, it's a World Ag Expo, you know, and we've met some people that are all over the United States, but it's just amazing how many people are here. You know, I'm learning a lot about the ag industry itself, so just the different types of equipment, machinery, the different jobs that are tied to growing stuff and getting it to the market. It's been fantastic.
And so you're here, Coast County's Peterbilt. We used to have this area called the E.M. Tharp area, but of course, you know, things have changed with the now Coast County Peterbilt. Explain first of all for the folks here why E.M. Tharp is not now. It's now Coast County Peterbilt for the folks at home maybe who are familiar more. Is this the E.M. Tharp spot?
Yeah, sure. We'll certainly answer that question. A little bit of backstory for you. So Coast County's Peterbilt, we're family owned and operated since 1949, and in 2024 we were purchased by a Canadian company called the Jim Pattison Group. They were looking to develop their business in California. They actually had already previously owned and still do own a Peterbilt dealer up there, kind of like a sister dealer. So anyways, that opportunity came up. The family owned it 75 years, third generation. The previous president, Craig Archer, he decided, hey, this is the right time. They sold it out, but part of their deal when they sold and met Peterbilt, went down to the factory. Peterbilt made it very clear to them that, hey, we're excited about this opportunity, but we want you to grow.
Yeah.
We're looking for growth. We're looking for less dealer principals throughout the U.S. and more consolidation. So with that as the backdrop, it didn't take long. I want to say it was March of last year, or about a year ago, where the talks started getting serious about, hey, we want to grow, and we got our sights on this dealer group right there in the Fresno area, which was owned by E.M. Tharp, known as Golden State Peterbilt. So with all that, we started due diligence, I want to say in May of last year, and things just moved along, and as it moved along, you know, the parties came to an agreement, and it's like, here we are, and we're ready to do this, and we're going to do it on August 31st. That didn't happen. No, we're going to do it on September 30th. That didn't happen. But guess what? The big day was not a trick-or-treat, October 31st. That's when, somewhere near midnight, it kindly switched, and yeah, we were able to, we bought the assets of E.M. Tharp related to the Golden State Peterbilt acquisition there. So,
and it's been growing smooth, obviously, for the last few months now as you build into this expo, and of course you got great, amazing equipment here. I'm just looking around vehicles around here at the location. So, you know, so tell me a little bit about the mission. You know, what you guys, are, you know, you're here for the first time, but what are you hoping to accomplish here at the Ag Expo for the first time for you guys?
Well, I'll defer to Curtis on that. He's my local general out here watching things. But yeah, Curtis, why don't you give us your insight?
I think the main thing is to introduce Coast Counties to the local community here. You know, I come from a dealership background before my time at Peterbilt, and I'm very big into getting to know the local community, support the local community. Very honored to be able to give out those scholarships earlier, do things like that. So I think today's mission is to introduce the Central Valley to Coast County's Peterbilt, let them know that we're here to serve them in any way that we can, and let them know that where we're at, and come on down and see some of these beautiful trucks that we have. If you're in need, we've got some trucks for you.
Yeah, so I'm curious about the industry, right, and how things have changed and evolved, and you have these big, beautiful trucks sitting around here we're all surrounded by if you come by our booth here. So explain to me, you guys have been in the business, obviously. How has things really changed in the last 10, 15 years in this industry, especially when it comes to the relation of agriculture?
Well, I mean, one thing related specifically to the truck itself, I would say 15 years ago, there might have been 3 onboard computers, something around that. Yeah. And now I want to say you probably got like 15 on there. So the technology has really just taken off to a new level. We always say we're 20 years behind car dealers?
If that, or at least that.
Yeah, we're always like going behind them, and to see the technology go the way it is, I call them machines, right? Most people call them trucks. I call them machines because these things have a brain in them. I mean, they're talking to multiple other systems within it. They've got sensors on them. It's amazing what these trucks have evolved into, which puts a lot of pressure on us as a dealer, because with that, we are pressed to make sure we have the right tooling to work on these trucks, the right parts to support them, most importantly, the right people, right? So when it comes to a community like this, we want the truck brand out there, obviously, to support the ag market. This is a great market for our truck, because we build trucks to spec to meet the needs of the different hauls that these farmers have. So, I mean, one particular guy, I'm going to give him a plug, Kane Trucking, is a very good customer of ours, has about 75 trucks in his fleet. He has 5 different types of hauls he does. Yeah. And for that, he's going to need 5 different types of trucks. The Peterbilt truck's known for vocational use, as well as, on highway, short haul, whatever it might be. So we're able to meet the demands of the customers, especially in a market like this, where it's varied. Also, I was alluding earlier to how, we need people to, sell parts for these trucks. We need people to service these trucks, to work on these trucks. Yeah. And that's another big reason we're getting our name out here. So these young people know working on a truck pays. Right. I'll let Curtis, demand. Yeah, I'll let him talk a little more about that. Working on a truck pays. You can,
Yeah, so I started in this industry as a mechanic 25 years ago. Wow, time is flying past. So they're getting more complex, but, we talked about the connection to the community. I as a youngster, I worked at a Ford dealership. A dealership in the local community can be a great source of employment, whether it's being a technician or being in the accounting department or being on the sales side. I think sometimes dealerships are overlooked as their contribution to the community, but they're great places to work. Truck technicians can make $100,000 and $150,000 a year. Most people don't know that. We have mobile techs throughout the Peterbilt network that sometimes they make $250,000 a year. Right? Wow. Now, they're obviously going out there and getting that work. Nobody's handing them that money, but it's a legitimate career for a lot of people that get overlooked as people want to go to college or want to move out of areas like the Central Valley. Right? Yeah. We want to be a connection to this local community, a place of employment, a place to serve the community. You talked about what are the changes in the past 15 years, and I would say it's different here in the Central Valley, I've noticed, but outside of the Central Valley, it's the customer base, consolidation. It's bigger and bigger companies merging together. It makes the trucking industry much more competitive. So we need to make sure that we're at the top of our game on a customer service level, and the top of our game to make sure that we're taking care of the community around us. Right, especially here, reliability is so key for a industry that is so unreliable in its factors. All the factors of weather and what the farmers and the folks who are out here working on that. You need to cut out all the variables as best you can, and if you have a dependable equipment like machines like this, that's your goal for you to sell to those folks that, hey, we are a reliable resource here, instead of one where, you're going to be dealing with it a lot more as opposed to what you're going to be dealing with your yield and stuff like that. I imagine that's kind of the relationship there with that. 100%. And that's what the customers are expecting of us, right? They, just to your point, there's going to be lots of variables throughout the growing season. Things are going to break or the weather's not going to work. They need to be able to call us and count on us to come out there and take care of them however best we can. And so what we're doing here today is obviously we're putting on a great display, but anybody that comes by the Coast County's booth here, the area here, we want to let them know that we're here to take care of them, right? Give us a chance, and come on by and just figure out a way where we can help you grow your business.
Right.
So,
what are the most common things you hear from folks who talk to you about, what they're looking for in trucking and what you guys provide?
One of the biggest things I hear is reliability and durability. Those are some of the biggest things. I need a truck that's going to maximize my uptime, as the industry lingo goes, right? You don't want that thing sitting. You're using that to run a business. When it's sitting, it's not like me. When my EV Mustang breaks down, I can just go rent a car or whatever, right? It's not a big deal. Here, this truck's built to spec. I can't run one. I need my truck fixed. I got to run my business.
Right.
So the reliability is a huge one. And not just that, you don't want something that's just going to fall apart after a few years. So and especially in ag, I mean, they're not easy on the equipment. These guys are running these things hard and heavy, especially during yield time, harvest time. You got these guys hitting the road. We got one guy was telling us August to November. Some of these guys are just, everything is off the table except work. You're just working. So we got to have that reliability piece. That, for me anyways, that's how I look at it. Durability, reliability. Curtis, you probably have some things to say about that.
No, I think you guys nailed it. I mean, these people use our trucks to run their business, and so they need to be up and running, and so it's really the number one thing that any customer will talk to us about. To your point, Mike, when you said we talked to the customer, and from August to November, we were talking about bringing them to the factory. Come on down to the factory, we'll show you around. And he was like, yeah, that's great, but don't call me between August and November, right? Mm-hmm. So during that time, they need their trucks up and running every single day, and we need to make it clear to them that we will help them do that in any way, shape, form that we can.
Yeah, I mean, and really with the parts inventory we carry, we got the parts you need when you call it. If you don't have it right here in this immediate area, we got a network of 7 other locations we can pull from. Next day the parts are here. You need service done. We've got nice extended hours of service, so we can work on these trucks, to get them up and going for you. Let's say you do have a cookie cutter truck that's down, we can lease or rent you a truck. So that's the kind of reliability I think these guys are looking for when they're out there shopping around, and that's what we try to offer.
And mobile service as well. We're going to grow our mobile service footprint so we can start bringing the shop to our customers, helping them keep their trucks on the road as quickly as possible.
It's such an intricate network how agriculture all relays to it together, and the cogs that put in, people don't even realize how intricate it can be, and you guys are certainly a key one in terms of the industry. For the folks who are familiarizing with themselves with Coast County's Peterbilt, of course, here at the booth, they can stop by. But how else can people find you guys if they're listening here around the Central Valley? How else can they find what you guys do and see what it's all about with Coast County Peterbilt?
Well, you can go to www.coastcounties.com, and you'll get a nice heavy dose of our network, our locations, everything we do. We got a nice app you can download there that talks more to our capabilities for the marketplace. But yeah, I mean, that's a real easy way to get a hold of us. I mean, it's like anything else nowadays, right? You can just drop it into, say, Fresno, Peterbilt, and you're going to see our name pop up there.
Well, it's great to have you both, of course, and I hope you're enjoying your first expo here in Tulare, in the heart of the agricultural world right now, here for the next few days. So I appreciate you both stopping by.
Yeah, we feel fortunate to be here. We appreciate you having us, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for the time.
Absolutely. Appreciate it as always. Mike Sorensen, Curtis Crisp here, Coast County's Peterbilt. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
The Central Valley Sports Leader has you covered for the local angle with the Central Valley Sports Report hosted by Paul Meadors. Paul is back for year 5 and is ready to give you the insight and knowledge of everything you need to know when it comes to high school sports. From the coaches and player interviews to the game recaps week by week, as well as talking with all the insiders that have the pulse when it comes to prep sports in the Central Valley. Central Valley Sports Report, airing 10 a.m. to noon, live from First String Sports every Saturday on 1430 ESPN Fresno.
How many pennies are we betting today? Pennies? At least a quarter, or maybe a buck. I told George to use his 5-wood, and he pulled out his teeth. You're supposed to play the ball where it lies, not lie about where you played it. Oh, boy. Come on down to Roger Dunn on President's Day weekend. Shop for all your golfing needs. Pop a balloon and receive anywhere between 10, 20, 30, even 50% off your entire purchase. Get the golfer in your life everything they need to look their best and play their best. You're always number one at Roger Dunn.
Are you a business owner struggling to understand how cloud technology can help your business? Are you in need of computer and technology support for your employees? M-Cubed Technologies is your solution for fully managed IT services. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. M-Cubed will be your partner in the digital world, allowing your business to carry on worry-free. We specialize in cloud hosting, Microsoft 365 management, general IT support, and VoIP phone services. Call M-Cubed Technologies today to discuss our partnerships.
Still thinking of chain link or wrought iron for your fence? There's a smarter option. Steel panels from Pacific Steel Supply right here in Fresno. Get a clean, modern look with more privacy, long-lasting durability, and customization options like color and finish, all at a cost-effective price. And Pacific Steel Supply will match or beat any company's pricing. Need it to be fast? They offer around-the-clock service. Get your free quote online at PacificSteelSupplyInc.com. Pacific Steel Supply, built strong, priced right.
Horn Barbecue is now open in Fresno's Granite Park, a true Bay Area legend. Fresno's first Michelin Award-winning pitmaster, Matt Horn, brings his slow-smoked brisket, ribs, and killer barbecue. Say hello to greatness at Horn Barbecue, where real smoke meets real flavor. It's West Coast barbecue at its finest. Whether you're feeding the family or firing up game day, Horn Barbecue has plates piled high and plenty to share. Horn Barbecue, now open in Fresno's Granite Park, on Cedar between Ashland and Dakota. Check out the menu today at hornbarbecue.com.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save offer, we'll cover up to 90 days of payment processing, provide no-cost equipment, and offer competitive rates so your business can keep more of what it earns. And behind it all is a local team that truly understands your goals and is ready to help you reach them. Make the switch. Save with FFB. Visit ffb.bank to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Introducing The Sidebar, a brand new open-air beer garden at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill in River Park. Experience a new way to catch a game, hang with friends, and enjoy new appetizers, char-grilled burgers, salads, wings with over 10 house-made sauces, and of course, world-famous Me and Ed's pizza. Thirsty? Try our self-poured taps with over a dozen craft beers, wines, ciders, and craft seltzers. Plus a full bar with an impressive selection of tequilas, whiskeys, and craft cocktails. The Sidebar at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill, now open in River Park.
So winter's officially here, and the last thing you want is your house cold and your furnace sounding like it's auditioning for a beatboxing competition. That's why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is running their $99 furnace tune-up special. It's the perfect time, because nobody wants to see their breath inside the house. And let's be honest, layering 3 jackets indoors isn't festive, it's desperate. So get ahead of the cold. Schedule your $99 furnace tune-up today at leesair.com. That's leesair.com. Happy holidays from your locally owned and operated Lee's Air and Heating. CLN 635-355.
All right, joined by just another guest coming in. We got guests aplenty here on the World Ag Expo show live here from Tulare, and I don't know if I entirely was expecting to see Mr. Tim Slack here, but I had to get him on a microphone, of course. Tim, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I know off season I can be everywhere, not quite as everywhere as you are right now, but it was nice to cross paths with you today.
Yeah, what brings you down to the World Ag Expo week this week?
I mean, it's so important to our community, right? Just agriculture in general, and so we have a lot of friends who have booths here, and a lot of times they bring their kids who are friends with my kids, and so just being able to rub shoulders, see what they do, learn a little bit more about what all goes into it. And there's just kind of some amazing machines and technology out that I think if I just stayed in the stadium all year, I would never know anything about it. So it's been fun to learn and get to know what they do a little bit better.
Of course, and the Fresno Grizzlies, who are ingrained with the Central Valley, just like agriculture and all of the connections and the connective tissue to this world. You know, tell me a little bit about how you guys really integrate yourself with the agriculture community a little bit. As a baseball team here in the Central Valley, of course, the Grizzlies. I can imagine. Of course, I remember the Growers Nights.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. So,
well, I think on the promotion level, I think that's, we try to be as forefront. We're going to have Ag Night that first weekend in April. I think that's actually the Friday night game since our home opener is a Tuesday. So was that April 11th?
Yeah.
So Ag Night, where we have a lot of these same folks out at the ballpark, and they're able to network at Chick-Chansey Park as well. But I think it goes beyond that too, just in terms of like leaning on our neighbors and our partners to come help out, and you try to buy local, you try to source stuff, whether it be for concessions or the Kodiak Club. Like a lot of our food comes from folks who grow it right here, and so we lean on them quite a bit. And it's funny how many people that I've seen today that I see at the ballpark all the time maybe didn't necessarily know what company they work for, or they work with. So
it's been interesting, of course, how I do ask, and I always kind of ask every guest, is this your first Ag Expo? You've been down here before?
I came last year,
yeah.
But I've been all over. You know me, I'm a little bit of a journeyman in terms of just where I've lived in my career. So I was in the Midwest for a long time,
right?
And we had some similar things. And then last year when I came out to the Ag Expo for the first time, I understood Central Valley's like place in the globe when it comes to agriculture, but I don't think I understood the extent of this, right? And so again, it's just kind of mind blowing to see how big it is. I was walking in with one of my teammates for the Grizzlies front office, and he had never been, and he was blown away by how big it is, and how, I mean, you just look at some of the displays, and I mean, you got 4 semis parked just right across from you. I mean, more than that, actually. So, like, it's just it is kind of astounding to think about how much goes into it, and just thinking about the small percentage of farmers and growers that are here today, and all the people you're going to see over the next the whole duration of this event, and how many have already been here. It kind of blows your mind.
Right. You mentioned the scale, and ironic. I think about the first time I came here last year, and I made the mistake of parking on the exact wrong side of where I needed to be. And the steps.
Just to get in.
Just to get in, and then just to go find your area. You could spend days here, and you won't get to everything in terms of that, and everything that's showcased in it, too. But it's fascinating, the world of agriculture and how much it matters, especially. And I know you're in the midst of an off season, but I see a little spring training here and there from the teams. We're trickling in now. Like once the Super Bowl finishes, it feels like we're starting to really get the idea that baseball's around the horizon here.
Well, think about it. Pitchers and catchers report this weekend to spring training in Arizona and Florida. So our group will be down in Arizona. We still haven't heard who our coaching staff is completely yet. So that's going to be a fun announcement as that gets rolled out. But yeah, it feels like baseball season. I've kind of been joking. It's cold right now, but I feel like everybody's just chomping at the bit to get out and be outside, and it's starting to warm up. Days are starting to get a little bit longer.
Right.
I know high school and colleges are starting to go, so that's been fun to go around the area and see baseball being played. But we're ready. We've launched the promo calendar already.
Yep.
We have a lot of fun days in store for this year, and 25th season downtown Fresno, or 25th year downtown Fresno, excuse me. It's going to be a special year, and I think that's, for us, part of the reason why this time is so exciting, because we're still building in and finishing some of the planning details, and just really looking forward to a great year.
I want to ask, because we're kind of in rawhide territory, just to be honest with you, down here.
We passed it, didn't we?
Passed it a little bit. We're down here, and I know we're adding them to a rival. Like, we're going to play the rawhide a lot more this year, and I think that's going to be an exciting wrinkle to a real fun Central. I know Modesto, obviously, the team's come and gone now, but adding Visalia to this division and getting a lot of games split between both cities, I'm fascinated how that's going to grow as a rivalry.
I think you and I talked about this at one point, just in case people aren't sure exactly what we're talking about. So Modesto no longer is an affiliated baseball anymore. That organization had been there for decades. That's actually where I got my start in baseball. So last year, being able to go to those games and go to that stadium in its final year was really special for me, and that was a lot of fun. But for as many people as I know in Modesto and as many people as I know in Fresno in the Central Valley, like, people don't seem to go that way a ton.
Right.
Versus when you talk about Fresno and Visalia, obviously you have Kingsburg and Selma and all the areas in between, Reedley. Like, I think it's really interesting how many people might go to one park or the other, got used to going to one place or the other. So this year is going to be really special because with Modesto out, Visalia now comes into the Northern Division.
Right.
With Modesto out, the other thing that created was this affiliation shuffle. The Dodgers having their money actually have the team that is replacing Modesto in the league. It's in Ontario. They're going to be the Tower Buzzers. That's going to be fun. I know we have a lot of Dodger fans in the area. That stadium is incredible down there, and it's going to be phenomenal to go visit. So you have the Dodgers down there in the south, and then Modesto was affiliated with the Mariners. They've now gone down to Inland Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Inland Empire was affiliated with the Angels. That's now in Rancho Cucamonga.
Okay.
And the Quakes are affiliated with the Angels now, and they were formerly of the Dodgers, which that affiliation jumped down there. So going back to your point about the rivalry, I think it's going to be fun with the Rawhide this year. I think we went there twice. They came to us once last year.
Yeah.
There have been times in the past since the Grizzlies moved into the California League a couple years ago that they played like 24 times. We're going to get back to that this year. By the way, we were something like, 20-4 that year against the Rawhide.
Not too bad.
So now the rivalry can generate a little bit more. I think the Rockies and the Diamondbacks both have really interesting prospects that are going to be a lot of fun. And I think that's a win-win for the Central Valley, being that you can go see us play all 24 games of those series.
Yep.
It's just like an extra 12 games that we go play in Visalia like home games.
Big couple events, including on this season, of course. I want to go to Tequila Fest because we just had a little bit of news break this week.
We did.
About a new artist being added to the lineup.
So you already knew about Nelly headlining, and his good friend and a phenomenal rapper in Twista will be added to the lineup. We're so excited to have them both. I think it's going to be a phenomenal event May 2nd at Chuck Chansey Park. You want to get tickets because they are going fast. I know we'll see you down there and going through the tastery and stuff, but you really want to get your tickets now because as we get less, those prices obviously go up closer to the event. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun last year. It was ludicrous and just a phenomenal lineup. It's going to be a can't-miss event this year in the Central Valley.
Great way to kind of kick off the summer, right? That start of May date. I like that date a lot. It's not too hot down there.
Yeah.
You're really kind of it's a great vibe down at the ballpark for that event.
I think it's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like it's starting to warm up a little bit.
Right.
Talked about days getting a little bit longer, but it's not really that Fresno heat, that Valley heat that we can deal with.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, and I know we're really excited to continue to add to the lineup. But Nelly and Twista is going to be, I think, a really popular ticket.
And of course, we're looking forward to broadcasting games with you again.
Yes, sir.
This year,
I am too.
On 1430 and 790, and we're going to have a new wrinkle to the schedule. We're going to be hitting the road.
Yes.
So
I'm so thankful to you guys for making that happen. We're going to have a lot of fun, I think, throughout the broadcast. But this is when we're on ESPN. It is an ESPN broadcast, and I think we're going to be able to have a lot of opportunities. If you want to come down and meet me in Visalia and hang out, I hear that booth is getting air conditioning this year.
I hope.
But me too.
I do the baseball championships down there at the end of start of June. I'm like, oh man, this is getting rough. But
well, I'm spoiled, right? Because and you've been up there with us up at Chuck Chansey Park.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have AC, but no, being with you guys on the road this year is going to be phenomenal. I think just getting the message out to more people who maybe can't make the drive to Lake Elsinore or Ontario and letting them keep up with the team. You guys just make it really easy for them to access our broadcast. And I'm really grateful for the whole crew over at ESPN Radio. Maybe I should go down the list, but Chris and Enrique and Jorge and you for making that possible. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I can't wait for what this season is going to bring.
Well, I can't wait. And, of course, the third year of Grizzly Monday should be a lot of fun if we can get it coordinated, too. I always like having you guys on those Monday shows before the big series, right? I love how that schedule works out where we can bring some people in. Got to get some players in as well. So it's fun coming down to the ballpark and talking to those guys too. So
And we'll have you out again. I mean, I think this partnership is so much fun. You guys do such a great job, and you do such a great job, Phil, with local sports. Not just saying that. I think
Appreciate
being
it.
able to tune in. This is my off season right now. I'm quite literally hibernating. I know I show up too many places, but to be able to tune in and listen to what you guys are doing with just the up and coming, and hopefully we'll see some of these guys in the next handful of years playing for the Grizzlies, right? That are playing high school basketball now or football in the area. And again, it's gonna be a fun year, and can't wait to see what sort of interviews and different things that we can do together.
Season is here before you know it. Grizzly season, Grizzly baseball, which you can listen to on 1430 and 790. Tim Slack, the voice of the Grizzlies.
Thanks, Phil.
For this season. Appreciate it as always coming by. Enjoy the expo. I heard there's really good tri-tip around. So.
That's where we're going next.
So there you go. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back on 1430. We're not going to take a break, actually, because we're going to wrap up the show here. And got a few more minutes before we say goodbye for the day. Big thanks to Tim Slack for stopping by there. As you heard, we had him earlier in the day. Big thanks to all of our guests who came on the show today. Paul Metters, Patrick O'Connor of Helena Agri. We had Mike Sorensen, of the president of Coast Counties Peterbilt. We also had Curtis Crisp, the GM of Coast Counties Peterbilt. And also, as you just heard, the voice of the Grizzlies, Tim Slack. A little reminder of the schedule. So tomorrow, we're going to be from 2 to 4 p.m. That's right. 4 p.m. is when the Ag Expo wraps up here for the year. That's it. 59th annual in the books tomorrow. So if you haven't come down yet, maybe some of you farmers have been prepping for the rain and maybe finally have a little bit of a lull in the day. I know that's asking a lot, but if you come on down, this is your last chance to do so. We're at the Coast Counties Peterbilt section here. And you want to stop by and say hi in terms of that. We'll be here 2 to 4 p.m. live on the air on 1430 ESPN. Of course, we're going to still do some more interviews throughout the day. Be sure to tune into that. Tonight, FPU Sunbird Sports Show, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Paul Metters will take over there, so you want to flip over to 790 for an hour of Fresno Pacific Sunbird Sports Talk. Like I said, tomorrow we'll have our Ag Expo 2-hour show. So no Tony D tomorrow. We'll be in his slot 2 to 4. So I'll try to keep it Fresno State-centric, maybe for a little bit for you Bulldog Hour folks out there. Laker basketball tomorrow night. Lakers and Mavericks. I believe this is the last Laker game we have before the All-Star break. So last chance to listen to the Lakers here before we take a week off and head over to the Intuit Dome for All-Star weekend in the NBA. Friday, Sportsline Bulldog Hour, Tony D, 2 to 3. No behind the bench on Friday. We are going to be off for the day. No behind the bench on Friday. We'll have FPU baseball at 5 p.m. on Friday night, 7:90. FPU baseball against Biola. Saturday, we'll have Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Metters from 10 a.m. to noon. Live from First String Sports, which you can listen to on the 1430 ESPNFresno.com website and the ESPN Fresno app. We'll have some college basketball as well. How about a little UCLA and Michigan for you over on 790? That'll be at 9:45 in the morning. Pregame 10 a.m. tip-off over there on 790. Sunday, we'll have a 1 p.m. presentation of the NBA All-Star Game, USA versus the world. See what that looks like in terms of the results. I feel like the world might have that. Let's be honest with you. And then Monday, we're going to have a special edition of Behind the Bench, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. from Roger Dunn Golf Shop. We're going to be there for the President's Sale. Folks, if you haven't done the Roger Dunn President's Sale, which happens Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it's a really fun event. You come down. If you've been dying to get some new equipment, some new golf equipment, I know you got a lot of golfers out there listening. The folks down at Roger Dunn, anytime you purchase, I believe, an item, you get a chance to pop a balloon, and those balloons have an opportunity to get 10% off, maybe 20% off, maybe 30% off, all the way up to, from what I've heard, you can get up to 50% off an item, or maybe your whole lot. I don't know. You'll learn the Monday. I believe it's an item. You'll get percentage off there on the sale the President's Day sale at Roger Dunn. It's a real fun event. We're going to talk a lot of golf maybe on that show as well. Yours truly actually is going to be at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am this weekend, so I'll have boots-on-the-ground coverage and reaction to that tournament. It's going to be my first golf tournament, so we're going to see how it turns out. Am I going to be able to understand what's going on? I know the golf presentation on TV seems to streamline everything for you, but boots on the ground, we'll see what that looks like in terms of it. Sportsline Bulldog Hour, Tony D, regular schedule on Monday as well, 2 to 3 p.m. We'll be back Tuesday for another regular edition of Behind the Bench. Of course, a reminder, we're going to have high school hoops as well with all of the playoffs coming up. Keep an eye on the schedule. Tuesday night, we're going to shoot for a quarterfinal. Paul Metters and I, we're going to look at the schedule. We're going to get you all the info you need in terms of what game we're going to do. And I think we're going to do a bonus game Friday as well. Eyeing maybe a potential great matchup in the girls' side of the bracket as well. So maybe a double dip next week in terms of high school basketball on ESPN Fresno. Okay, great show as always today. We'll react to the Pac-12 schedule tonight as well. So that's coming out 6:30. A reminder for you folks who want to know what the Fresno State schedule is going to look like. That's coming up tonight at 6:30. Be sure to tune in over there on the socials and all that stuff. And we are going to have full reaction to the Fresno State schedule release tomorrow's show. Like I said, 2 to 4 p.m. You want to tune in. I'm going to give all the opinions, all of the big details on that, and we'll react to it together. And, of course, you can get us on the show here at the Lee's Air Hotline, 559-320-1430. All right. It's a wrap. They're going to kick us out if we stay any longer. So, wrap from day 2 of World Ag Expo. We'll be back tomorrow. Be sure to stop by here at the Coast County's Peterbilt spot, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow behind the bench. Until then, we'll see you later.
When you want to give a gift everyone loves, give the gift of great food. Lynn's Restaurant Group gift cards work at all their restaurants. Spicy J's, J-Pod, Oisa, Hinoishi, Ramen Hayashi, Lynn's Fusion, Ichi Shabu, and JT. So they can choose what they're craving. Perfect for birthdays, holidays, thank you gifts, or those last-minute presents that still feel thoughtful. Purchase your Lynn's Restaurant Group gift card in-store or on the Lynn's Restaurant Group app. Fast, easy, and always a hit. Lynn's Restaurant Group gift card.